Hey folks, Drunken Homemaker here, and today I am going to be doing a update on my rubber plant propagation. I can actually say that I got a lot of requests for this, which sounds weird. It sounds like one of those things that YouTubers say or influencers say where they're like, a lot of you asked for my skincare routine. Nobody's going to be asking for my skincare routine, so thank you for asking for this. And a lot of folks asked for this on Instagram. So I'm going to make sure to link my Instagram below so that you can take a look at the picture that I posted on Instagram. I'm actually going to post a new one when I link to this video. Oh my God. Okay. So this is Mama Plant. I will insert some footage from the video that I posted where Mama Plant was just the little stubs that you see here. And as you can see, she's coming back. She's coming back strong. She looks great. A lot of healthy new growth, and she's doing exactly what I had hoped that she would do, so I'm very pleased with that. What's great about, propagating your plants is that it does encourage that, branching out that I enjoy in plants. It makes them look fuller. It also, if you're having any issues, it can encourage healthy new growth as opposed to any issues that your plant might be having. So yeah, so as you can see, Mama Plant is doing great. She was just two little stubs right there. And she is bouncing back beautifully. And I am going to see if I will put the date below of when I propagated these. I'm going to make sure that I look at the dates that I actually snipped the plant back and cut. So I will let you know how long it took. So first I will put down the date that I did this and how long it has taken to get to this point where it's at. So for those of you that were sort of looking at the little stumps and saying there is no way that plant is coming back, you burnt. All right. Oh my God. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the actual propagation because that has been more of a mixed bag. I am okay with eating crow here because I don't think that the water propagation was as successful as I would have liked. I can still propagate these. These are still workable, but if you can take, I'm going to put it closer to the camera so you can sort of see what I mean. It's not a ton of root growth. So it hasn't been a ton of root growth, but there is some root growth, which to me is encouraging. And what I have decided to do, because I did start to get that cloudy water effect, and I actually quarantined the guy who was, let's look at that cloudy water. So you can tell this one is looking a lot cleaner, a lot clearer, and this guy, he's not doing so good. So I am going to still plant him up because he still has some root growth, but he also had, yeah, it doesn't smell as bad as it did the other day. He had definitely some rot happening. But I'm still encouraged. I'm still going to plant him up. Not today, but I will be planting him up. I forgot to bring the ones that I put in soil because those actually did really well. So here is the plant that I propagated in soil. So in the video, I only propagated one using this method. But then there was another smaller one that I stuck in there later, and that one struggled a little bit. You can tell this leaf is gone now. So it struggled a little bit in the soil, but I'm giving them a tug, and they're both rooted in. So I'm going to eat crow on this one. Absolutely, soil propagation is significantly better with rubber plants than water propagation. Now you know. Okay. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to pot up the plants that I have that are using the water propagation. This one is doing so well. I'm so happy with it. It's definitely not at the point where I can definitely up pot it. What you want to look for is you want to see the roots coming out from the bottom, and we're not there yet. But this one is doing well. It did struggle a little bit. It just lost a leaf, but oh wait, maybe not. Oh wait, no, yeah, I gave it a little tug, which you really shouldn't do, but I did give it a little tug and it does look like it's rooting in, so I'm going to let this one be. I just make sure to keep the soil moist, and that tends to work pretty well. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be potting up the rubber plants that have some roots already in them so that they can continue growing on. But while I do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about other forms of propagation that I have since learned about. One of the ways that I've learned that you can also propagate is by using sphagnum moss and air layering. So the idea is with my Western New York is coming out. With air layering is that, to give you an idea, if this was the cutting that you wanted, you would apply the sphagnum moss and wrap, like moist sphagnum moss, wrap it with plastic. And I'm going to see if I can link a video down below because I know that I learned it from someone. I know Plantarina talked about it in one of her videos, but she didn't have a lot of success. I think she might have cut too deep into the plant. You want to sort of make a small incision, but you don't want to cut all the way. You just want enough so that the roots are sort of inspired to grow. All right, so I'm just going to be, that's very dry soil, sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some soil in here, and I'm probably going to put 2 cuttings in there because I think that's plenty of room for 2 cuttings. Perfect. And I tend to overfill in the beginning because once we water it, it'll be halfway gone. And what I'm going to do is, you can see there's some roots on this guy, but not anything to write home about. So I'm just going to, I might actually push it down with my fingers because I don't want to get rid of the roots that are in there because we worked hard for those roots, let me tell you. Okay. All right. And it's going to be hard to keep it upright, I think, but I think they're better in here. And this one's got barely anything on it, but I do think that now, given the success that I've had rooting it that way, I think I'm just going to stick to soil propagation. I will be trying the sphagnum moss propagation once I have something to try it on. Right now I've got a lot of baby cuttings, so this will be a really nice plant. Oh wait, I'm gonna do that because it'll lean on its own. That's perfect. So this is the first one. What I'm going to do is water that in really, really nicely. Keep it somewhere in indirect light, and just make sure that the soil stays moist until the plant starts rooting into the soil. And I think that this will make a really beautiful starter plant for someone. So I'll make sure to do that. And I'm just going to fill it up a little bit more with some soil just to help it anchor in while it's rooting in. Okay, and I'm going to move that a bit. Don't fall. Here. And then I'm going to move this here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to root in. I'm going to put in one container this guy that's got some growth. Actually, the older growth on the rubber plant tended to do a little bit better, was what I found. You could see these leaves look healthy, and actually they rooted a little bit better too. So what I'm going to do, and what you can do, is you can put the soil later. I like to add the soil first. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up. And I'm going to try to put in the rest of the cuttings that I have into this container because they're older cuttings that don't look as pretty as these do, but they're doing really well, so I'm not going to give up on them. Okay, so I have this one that's doing pretty well. I'm going to stick that in the soil. That's good. I have this one that hasn't really gotten any roots on it, and that's why I thought it would be a good idea to transfer it. I'm going to put this one sort of underneath this leaf because it's shorter, like this. And then I'm actually going to put the little sicky one, because the sicky one too, what happened was that it had this part that was starting to rot, and what I did was I cut that piece off, and I do see it bouncing back, but as you can see, it wants to revert to its little rottiness. Should I pot this one up separately? Probably. Will I? No, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. All right, so I potted up my rubber plant cuttings. They still have a ways to go. I'm actually going to use this water to water it in. What I did was once the water started getting cloudy the first time, I washed the containers really well. I added fresh water and I put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide to keep the cloudiness from happening, but unfortunately it did happen. So I won't reuse this water because it is, as you can see, there's a stark difference there. But I will use this water to water in right now because it's got hydrogen peroxide, which aerates the roots a bit. I'm just gonna let that soak in. Another thing that I found out recently that you can do is you can take the water from pothos cuttings. And I also have a video for pothos propagation that I will link up here. You can take the water from pothos cutting because that has a natural rooting hormone in it. And you can go ahead and water these in with that as long as there's nothing funky happening in there. Okay, so I'm just watering these in. And that's really it. I know that this was sort of, I don't want to say a disappointing update because I know these plants will bounce back. I'm not worried about them. I think they're going to do great. And I got a good amount of plants. I've got about, and what you can do is once it's watered in, you can just stamp the soil around the stem so that it sort of keeps it up and add water and add soil as needed. But right now I've got about 3 plants worth of cuttings from Mama Plant, and Mama Plant is doing great. So no regrets, but I definitely learned a lot from this process. In the past, I've had success with water propagation. This round, not so much. Not as much as in comparison to the soil propagation. So I think moving forward, I would stick to soil propagation. I'm excited to try the sphagnum moss, the air layering, and I will make sure to link a video below that either it's going to be Plantarina or it's going to be somebody else. I know I've seen Plantarina talk about it, but I think she said that she didn't have that much success with it. I imagine the air layering would be the best method or the most successful method, but I think soil propagation, I mean, this kind of speaks for itself. I know this one's a little, I just tugged this one too hard, but this one is in there. It's got new growth. It is healthy. It is happy. And all I do is check it once a week to make sure it's still moist, that the soil is still moist, and it's doing really, really well. So I do think that soil propagation is the winner and water propagation, not so much. But you live and you learn, and I hope that helps you. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I hope that this was helpful to the people who requested this video because I did want you to know, and I want to be honest about the results that I'm getting. I did try water propagation because in the past I've had very great success with water propagation, but with rubber plants, they just don't tend to like it as much as, say, pothos or string of hearts or, you know, other plants that are very readily will propagate in water. Okay, I think that is it for me. I hope this was helpful. Please make sure you like this video if you like content like this. Make sure that you subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you've seen a bunch of my videos, if you know what I look like and you're not willing to commit yet, what's it gonna take to get you to commit, you know? Hit subscribe. Hit the bell notification to be notified when I upload. As always, thank you for coming on this journey with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.